Today we pay tribute to R&B icon Angie Stone, whose recent passing we learned of after finalizing this episode. Though her voice lives on in her timeless work, her absence is deeply felt. Angie, thank you for your music. You will be profoundly missed.
This is the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B.
100 barefoot men stood in the square and rooted on the man with the machete, the sacrifice, the sufferer, the martyr, shirtless, cropped pants, hands tied behind his back with twine that looked loose enough to wriggle free if he wanted to, if he tried hard enough, if he would make any effort at all, and a white scarf as a blindfold, the symbol of surrender, of peace, of truth, impelled to his knees by one hand on his right shoulder, the sacrifice, the sufferer, the martyr made no sound, did not cry out for help, was not begging for forgiveness, no argument, no exchange. This man didn't put up one single protest. Or did he? The conjurers were restless, murmuring encouragement, shifting back and forth, marking time with their toes in the mud, nudging each other with their elbows to watch without interruption the shirtless man on his knees in the middle of the salacious posse softly lifted his head as if in prayer, floating back up after being pushed down by men wearing rifles like adornment. 3 times his head attempted a liftoff, an escape, maybe, from this proud body, burdened by religion and optimism. Maybe this was his invocation. Maybe his seraph knew and was preparing to ascend. Before this subordinate with the machete, dubbed omnipotent decision maker, lifted the blade double fist between his shoulders and the sacrifice, the sufferer. This martyr's body was cleanly sliced in 2 and succumbed to the dirt, bouncing once. I believe the earth was trying to throw him back, wasn't ready to receive him, hadn't made room for his soul in the soil just yet. The horde erupted, not with a cheer so much as a deliverance of resentment. This manumission of intensified pressure as the slayer pumped the blade in the air once, gripping the handle of his phallus after wiping the blood from the blade on the back of the cherub's clothes and dragging his barren body by one leg across the yard, dropping him on a pile of other men. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Forgive them, Father, for know not what they do.
Man, y'all give it up. Yes. From the Grammy-nominated Civil Rights, the South got something to say on the G line. Give it up for two-time Grammy-nominated Queen Sheba. You in the building, Queen Sheba?
I'm in the building.
Yay!
I'm in my Jeep.
Oh Lord. And you know, I'm not going to go into too many details about her background. If you want to hear everything, go to episode 250. She graced the podcast at the beginning of the year. Thank you again for doing that. And the lady who brought us all together, she is on the line. ATL, born and raised. Was it Washington High School?
Of course, it's Washington High School. How dare you?
Poetry with.
Oh my God! That one time I made a mistake. Oh my God! And I was so embarrassed.
Oh no! What did you say?
I said, "Oh my God!" I said George Washington, and then George and me stood up and was like, "Oh my God!" I don't know what where were we at? It was something I think I was like DJing or something like that. And I don't know. I was not thinking. It just slipped out. And she was like, "It is not."
You don't, hey, you don't mess with Atlanta Public Schools.
APS, all APS is heritage. That is a badge of honor. That signifies how Atlanta you are based off of what high school you went to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you don't say Washington. You don't say Washington. You guys say Washington.
You don't say Washington. You say Wadden. See, that's what I'm saying. You don't even know. And if you really, no, real talk. And if you're really from the West Side and you know Washington, you don't even say Washington. You say the High. It was never referred to as Washington. If you went to the High, you went to the High because we the first black high school in the Southeast. Just got to say that right quick. You know, the High. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Now I'm 20 years. Well, this July I will be 20 years into Atlanta. So that was my early years. I just got there and I was learning it all, which is why civil rights is so important to me, because it tells the story of me learning my roots, learning my civil rights. And Georgia Me, ironically, has been a big part of that. And I appreciate you for that, Georgia.
Awesome.
Oh, it's my honor. You've been a welcome addition to the Atlanta clan. It's magnificent. Yeah. People who come and contribute to the culture, they're welcome. People who complain and take, I just want all of them to go back wherever they're from or go to hell. Either one, I don't care. You know.
Absolutely not. I'm walking around with my notebook in my pen. Like, what else? What else can I learn? What else?
And you could tell she was in Medea Goes to Jail. And has traveled all over the world. And I saw your shot with Jimmy Fallon on the Tonight Show. And she's also, you've also done the Deaf Poetry on Broadway. So y'all give it up. She's already introduced herself. I don't have to do it anymore. Georgia Me, what's up? Thank you.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yes.
We're here to talk about this amazing show that we got going Saturday.
Yes, and y'all, welcome to episode 258 of This Is the G Podcast. Tell us about the show. Let's just go ahead and jump into it. What you got going on?
Well, Sheba is the mastermind between of many endeavors, but one of her endeavors, other than poetry versus hip hop, is this amazing showcase called Metaverse. She's been doing it the past few years at City Winery. I participated the past couple of years. This year, my capacity is as host with the amazing Tyler Chronicles from Wildin' Out and Departments and More Than Culture podcast and so many other things. And we're very happy because, a lot of times you do a show and a lot of work go on the host because the acts being hit or miss. It ain't no misses. It's hit all night of amazing, powerful women. And so she brought it together again this year with not only some internet viral people who are not just internet viral people. They're amazing entities like Kyra J out of Harlem. She's a poet who not only has an amazing show, but she also wrote and produced, starred in, and directed her own spoken word film.
Actually, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but Kyra J will not be joining us on this show. Unfortunately, she won't. Yeah, unfortunately, she won't be able to make it. I know it's really sad. I love Kyra J. She's an amazing artist out of New York, and she definitely was in the Philly show and the New York show. But I definitely didn't want to give any false advertising. She won't, due to unforeseen circumstances, and I'm so sad to announce that she will not be able to make this show. However, we have some amazing other artists, singers, and poets. The first year I did all poets, but then I realized this is the women's History Month show, and it doesn't have to be all poetry, as Georgia B was just about to say, and I hated to just Kanye you right there.
So let me ask though. This is a tour, so will she be on other stops with you guys, or some of the other stops?
So no, so Metaverse is only in Atlanta.
Only
so
in Atlanta, okay.
So I only do the Metaverse Women's History Month show in Atlanta the weekend of International Women's Day. So International Women's Day every year is March 8th, no matter what day it lands on. And this year it happens to land on a Saturday, and City Winery could have any show that they want on a Saturday night in Atlanta, which is a music mecca, and they have graciously allowed Metaverse to be their Saturday night.
Not even allowed. They want it. They booked it last year, okay? They wanted
it.
And
the year before, absolutely, for sure.
So let me confirm. Let me confirm first. March 8th, correct?
March 8th.
Saturday,
Women's International.
Okay, good.
And okay, let me say this. I'm sad that Kyra's not going to be there. I'm crying. But any one of these women can headline a show by themselves. So even if one fell off, you still got Teresa the Songbird, 100 million views on YouTube. You still got Dr. Kiana Dancy, not only a motivational facilitator, but a comedian extraordinaire. You
TEDx and been on Lifetime.
Yes, and TEDx, and was a host on the Sister Circle.
Come on.
Then you got Rochelle Gemini, Grammy nominated. We do have Rochelle Gemini. I want to say this.
Absolutely. Yes, we do.
Oh Lord.
Absolutely.
Then you, I'm thinking of the poets. I'm going.
Well, as you go, okay. you'll jump back in. I know you'll be thinking of them, but I got it. But while y'all are here, and I appreciate you giving me the time, because you told me you'd be on the road, you'd be traveling. But I know, again, Sheba, congratulations for the nomination. And I thank you both, the Grammy nomination. I sent you a text because I had to ask, and it wasn't hating. I wasn't trying to hate. But I did say, look, Tank and the Bangers won this year. But they're really a hip-hop group. So, I kind of felt like for you who are true to the game, who do it day in and day out, spoken word, I got the fact that they would win it maybe, but, trying to keep it pure. And I don't want to ask you because it may come off like hating, but any thoughts on that text from either one of you? Either Georgia.
It's not hate. It's observation. That's how I look at it. It's not hate. It's observation. And then you're a completely unbiased person, not just because you know us or are aware of us. You've heard the whole project, and you're like, okay, that's hip hop. And Sheba knows the parameters in which they're allowed to become nominees, and her album isn't 51% poetry. Yeah. So it shouldn't even been in the category, but that's the problem. We got to expand our profile. It don't even matter about Tank. It don't even matter about a Grammy. We're going to be there. But it's expanding the kingdom of spoken word. It's expanding people's view of what poetry and spoken word is. So, yes, she won, but it's good because she's an actual poet. Yeah. That's the only thing that's her saving grace, that she is an actual poet. Yeah. She doesn't work in that capacity primarily. But I will let it go. I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to get nobody in trouble, but I wasn't happy. But like I said, because she is a poet and I've known her for years and she's a wonderful person, I'm happy for her. Yeah. But it should have gone to Queen Sheba, and if not Queen Sheba, the manicness of Malik Youssef. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that's just it. Like, but that it'll come. It will come. I just want to make sure my girl was good. That's it. And she looked beautiful. She would look beautiful representing and presenting the Grammys. So she had a full experience. So as long as she was good, I'm good.
Hey, you presented to Sheila E., correct?
I presented to Sheila E., to Tim's, to Michelle Ndegeocello, and to 11 artists total during the premiere ceremony, which precedes the telecast ceremony, which is what everybody watches on TV.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey,
well, we didn't watch. No, we didn't watch the Grammys. We just watched Sheba.
A couple awesome things that I learned is that there are 94 categories in the Recording Academy, and 80 of them are presented during the premiere ceremony from 12 noon Pacific time in LA to 3:30 p.m. And then the other 12 or 14 are presented during the telecast, which is what everybody watches on TV. And so this year when I went to the telecast, realizing that they treat it like a television show. So it's not seamless like a show like the premiere. So the premiere, when you see people talking about the premiere on IG and on social media that the premiere is better, the premiere is actually better because they actually yell cut during the telecast. Like you're up walking around having snacks or seat fillers. They treat it like a television show for 10,000 people. We are literally sitting in the same arena as the LA Lakers? Yeah, that the LA Lakers play in. It's the crypto arena. Excellent. And so we're sitting in there, and I sat literally in the same row as Paris Hilton, as Bob Johnson, the architect mogul, and I sat with the same section as I love her, Saweetie, I love her, and it was so great.
Excellent. So real quick, I mean, you're kicking off Women's History Month with the event on the 8th, but of course today is the first day of March. But is there a common message that you send to women at this time? And I'll start with you, Sheba, and I'd love Georgia me chime in.
Yes, it's that I've always want women to feel empowered. We are the majority, ladies. We are the majority on the earth. We, in Atlanta alone, we are 20-1. I want us to feel empowered in anything that we do. And I don't mean against anything or anyone, just within yourself. Just feel empowered. Listen to your God spirit, your God body, your mind, your first thought, your gut, your instinct. What the bleep do we know? The secret, whatever your movement or your spirit, your higher power, or your higher thinking is, please go with that gut. And that is what civil rights is about. That track that you played in the beginning, which is called War, which is Whispers Amongst Ruins. That is what that track and so many other tracks on civil rights is about. Yeah, please continue to download and listen to civil rights. It's not over just because the Grammys are over. Please continue to listen to all those tracks. And it's about empowering people to be their best selves and to develop themselves. I just said at the beginning of this episode that I didn't know who I was in full bloom when I came to Atlanta 20 years ago. And with the help of like-minded and amazing people such as Georgia Me and so many others, I am able to come into full spirit. And this is a motto that I live by. You never arrive. You never arrive. You have never made it. So you keep going and you keep striving and you keep being your best self and you evolve and you morph into who you're supposed to be over and over and over and over and over again. So that is my message to women. So come out and see these amazing women. And a couple women that I definitely wanted to mention is a young lady that is coming from New York. Her name is Classique. I met her at a J. Rose Garden event in New York, and she's an amazing violinist. She is coming down for the event. And the amazing singer, her name is Yoshihana. She is from Orlando, and she has made her home in Atlanta for the last year. And she is closing out this show with her band, and she is incredible. And I think they're actually going to kind of do a mashup at the end as well. So we have a violinist, y'all, a live band, a comedian / motivational speaker, 4 poets. And the reason that I have a man and a woman as our host is because so many times, men, they don't sometimes honor us the way that they should. And so it was
You trying to check us?
A man host a woman's show so that it is, it's,
there you go.
I ask the men who host, I've had Malcolm Jamal Warner host the first year and the Tyler Chronicles hosted last year, and he's returning this year. He loves it. Yeah. He thinks it's great. And I have, just because it's like, hey, come and say these women are amazing. In full form, in full bloom, in front of people, in front of the camera. Like, say it in public, in bleeping public, like not in a meme, not in an Instagram. Not that we need it, because we are our own persons. Not that we need it, but hey, any bonus won't hurt.
Good stuff.
And that's what God told me to do, and that's what I'm going with.
Yes.
And the reason I have Georgia Me as not the co-host, as the host as well in her own right, is because she's amazing and deserving, and a Tony Award winner, and a Kuumba Award winner, and she has her own day in Atlanta. She's the only artist, as a spoken word artist and a poet, she's the only artist other than Ludacris, who is not even from Atlanta, who has their own day in Atlanta. So May 4th is her day, and she is beyond deserving, and I believe in giving people their flowers while they're alive. So, and she's hilarious.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Absolutely. Queen Sheba, Georgia Me, I just want to say thanks. And on the final, let us know, if you would, where people can get all the information. I know you have websites. I know it's at the event website, but is there any place that people can go and find out more? Maybe your social media.
You can go all social media, City Winery, ATL. You can find the link, and of course the Queen Sheba on IG, and all of us have advertising the show. It's very simple, very easy to get your tickets. They don't be like last year and it be sold out. You be like, dang, I thought I could walk up and get it. Don't trust that. Don't trust that. Go ahead and get your tickets now.
Yep.
Get your tickets now. It has sold out every year. People love the show. They leave crying, hugging, laughing, cheering. It is an incredible celebration of women. And brothers, this is not the time for you to stay home. This is the time for you to bring your wife, bring your girlfriends, bring your boyfriends, bring your homeboys. This is the time to come out and celebrate women. It is International Women's Day. On International Women's Day on Saturday. City Winery is a beautiful place. If you've never been there, this is definitely the time to check it out. It starts at 8:00. Doors open at 6:30. Go to City Winery Atlanta and click on March 8th, and you will see the tickets there. You choose your seat and come and enjoy the show.
Good stuff. Hey, Queen Georgia Me, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming on again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Y'all go download Civil Rights, my album, Rights Like Writing, WRITES. And I have a huge announcement on my IG later today. I think it's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's huge. It's a big, huge announcement. Georgia Me is actually part.
Okay. Georgia,
I don't know why she went out, but
because she's been bringing that energy. That energy just kicks her off.
And I appreciate all of you. Thank y'all so much.
She's so turned. And I wanted to say, download and check out Westmore Drive. We have several releases coming out this year, so I just want to make sure that I put that out there too, because she was the queen of promo. I'm gonna get better. So yeah, please go check out Westmore Drive.
Excellent, good stuff, y'all. Hey, I appreciate y'all.
See you
again.
Saturday.
We'll see you.
Thank
y'all
you,
take
Thomas.
care. Hey, no problem. Thank you again. All right, y'all. Peace. Take care.
Peace.
Oh man, y'all there? Tonya B and Talib. Hey, hit your unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah. We're here.
Yeah, they bring the energy, man. But I'm here to tell you, that you know, I'm a Grady baby, and I feel insecure with Georgia Me, because she'll check you, man.
See, Georgia Me, I love Georgia Me, man. I'm telling you, she's dynamite.
Yeah, she is, man. And the event is March 8th. I'll make sure that we have that information on our website and on our social media as well. All right, y'all, let's go ahead. Let's do news, and we'll come back and we'll chat about it. All right, here we go.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
Despite confusion about how to handle it, more than 1 million federal workers have responded to Elon Musk's email seeking an answer to the question, "What did you do last week?" The Office of Personnel Management has added to the confusion, now saying it's up to the head of each federal agency to determine if workers should respond. And then President Trump weighed in late in the day Tuesday.
Well, it's somewhat voluntary, but it's also if you don't answer, I guess you get fired.
Not really sure if that helped. Also, according to the administration's own data, about 40% of the federal contracts that the Trump administration says they have canceled as part of its cost-cutting program are not expected to save the government any money. Grammy-winning performer Roberta Flack has died. She was surrounded by her family at the time of her death Monday. Roberta Flack provided the soundtrack for a generation, especially in the 1970s, with hits like Killing Me Softly with his song, The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, Where Is the Love, and many more. The recent documentary Roberta looked at her life, including her work on civil rights. She retired from singing years ago, and in 2022 announced that she was suffering from ALS. Roberta Flack was 88. Well, he sat in a chair and not at the table for President Trump's first second-term full cabinet meeting at the White House Wednesday. We're talking about Elon Musk, who was still the star of the meeting.
So I'm going to ask if it's possible to have Elon get up first.
Musk talked about the Doge mission and how he is slashing the government payroll. A California-based judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from ordering several federal agencies, including the Defense Department, to carry out mass firings of some employees. Judge William Alsup said that the U.S. Department of Personnel Management, OPM, lacked the power to order federal agencies to fire any workers, including probationary employees who typically have been on the job for less than a year. He ordered OPM to resend 2 emails directing agencies to identify probationary employees who should be terminated. The death of Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman is raising a number of questions. Authorities initially said no foul play was suspected, but that has changed. And now they are using one word to refer to his death along with that of his wife and their dog. That word is suspicious. There are reports about the discovery of prescription pills near Hackman's wife's body. Plus, officials say the couple died some time ago.
All I can say is they have been deceased for quite a while. You know, that's a determination that's better suited for OMI and the experts, but it sounds like they had been deceased for a while, and I don't want to take a guess.
Hackman was 95 and his wife was 65 when their bodies were discovered by deputies in their New Mexico home. Now to Washington, a meeting at the White House between President Trump and Ukraine's President Zelensky started okay but didn't end well. And that might be putting it mildly. There was no mineral deal or progress on the ceasefire plan involving Russia, but there was a shouting match. This is when the meeting went off the rails after Vice President J.D. Vance said to Zelensky,
I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media.
And then President Trump got a little loud.
You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
European leaders are rallying behind Zelensky while the former president of Russia called Zelensky a clown. Later, President Trump posted on Truth Social that Zelensky can come back when he's ready for peace. You may be wondering why there is so much tension between Mr. Trump and Mr. Zelensky. You'll have to rewind several years to what led up to the first impeachment of President Trump. That was a result of an alleged effort by Trump to get Zelensky to dig up dirt on Joe Biden and his son in return for U.S. aid. Zelensky did not cooperate, and the relationship has been strained since. Zelensky left the White House early. Some officials say he was asked to leave. With his departure, many questions about the path forward remain unanswered. This question seems clear. Who was the winner after the Friday White House meeting? That would be Vladimir Putin.
Exactly. Putin. And I got to say this, man. It is, without a doubt, I think ultimately when it comes down to this whole thing, and I'm going to say this, because I was thinking about the impeachment and going back to the whole quid pro quo thing. Trump never forgets. He carries a grudge. And you could tell that, first of all, he wanted to show Putin that he's on Putin's side. And then Vance, in my opinion, wanted to show Trump that he's on his side. So it was like all these folks are really trying to show their bosses what they were capable of. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead. Bumping their chest. It was testosterone,
right.
Gone berserk.
Right.
But any quick thoughts? And I'll go to you. First of all, Tonya B, happy Women's History Month.
Thank you.
And I'll go to Talib. Go ahead. What you got, Tonya B?
Yeah, I was like, I'm just so sick of it all, and I always say, don't bury your head in the sand, but just keep, your ear to the ground and know what's going on. But it just seems like a whole lot of testosterone and flexing is in the room, and when there's too much of it, nothing comes from it. Nothing comes from it at all, to me. And, we know Trump's a bully. I think J.D. Vance is a wannabe bully. And I think the fact that, and again, him trying to raise his voice, he might as well have been windmilling like he was he just didn't have any Vaseline to take off his earrings. That's again. It was like just some 7th grade musty mess, And it's like this morning I woke up and every newscast and every morning news show I turned to, that was the lead in. So I promptly took my remote and pressed mute.
And I'm going to say this, and I want to throw it to you, Talib, but I will say this, that did steal the news cycle, period. I mean, everything that we talked about, Doge and the job cuts, the layoffs, this basically, and it was almost to me as if they did it intentionally. Hey, I'm going to you, Talib, go ahead. And go ahead, Talib.
But you really thought it wasn't intentional?
Oh, no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was obvious what this was. This was a little bit of showboating. This is, Trump doubling down on Putin, you're my guy, so I'm going to call Zelensky a dictator. Just preposterous, really.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance, I felt like what's the cartoon dogs where the little dog is, yeah, Spike, Spike, get him, Spike.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what J.D. Vance was like, talking. I think it's very disrespectful, trying to get, it was obviously trying to get Trump riled up. Trump gets excited about something that means nothing. He's like, what set Trump off on the toward the deep end was the fact that Zelensky said that he'll feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He'll feel it is what set you off.
Yeah, that set him off. That set him off big time. All right, y'all. Hey, and we're going to talk about, because I'm going to show the video toward the end when we get to political roundtable. But I do have one more question before we go to T. The boycott. We didn't, Mike didn't go into detail about it. He didn't mention it in some of the newscasts. But your thoughts on the boycott, and I'll start with you, Talib. Go ahead and give me your thoughts on the boycott, the one day.
Please keep it up. I'm encouraging more people to get involved. I would love to see somebody show me what the figures were yesterday over last year.
Yeah.
I know they're not going to really put the real numbers out, but if you could see what last year's numbers were compared to this year's numbers, they would show just how effective the boycott was. But we got to keep it going.
I agree. Tonya B, thoughts on the boycott?
Talib, you're saying that I want to see what the figures were from last month, because last I heard, black folks spent $12 million a day in Target, but as of maybe earlier this week, they had lost over $15 billion, and that was before yesterday. And like you said, they probably will never tell the real figures.
Oh, they're not.
I was sharing with you all earlier, it was very refreshing not to go anywhere and spend any money yesterday. It was refreshing to also stay off social media.
Yeah.
And just really look at these companies that have been pimping people of color, black and brown people for years. Now, not just the DEI piece. There's more to it than that. Look at those companies that are still supporting DEI, and won't back down to the bullying of it. So I know that the next boycott starts next week, and I think it is Walmart, followed by a week of no Amazon, which means no Whole Foods either, because it's always one and the same. And just let them know that, they have always discounted the African American and the minority, spending power and discounted our dollars. But it's time that they know, and they think that we can't exist without them. But let's show them that we can. And let's, I will go out of my way if I'm going to spend money somewhere to find, a small black business, even if it costs me more money to do it. It's about principle for me.
I agree. Yeah. I'm with you on that. And I'm with you on that. I totally agree. I just wish, and I have to say this to the organizers of the boycott, please make sure that we centralize what's going out to the public. We don't need all these organizations doing separate things. You need a central way of communicating the same thing to the people so that we don't have multiple people doing different things. The effective way to make this effective, and Talib, go ahead and mute yourself real quick. The way to make this thing effective is to make sure that we are actually on the same page. Because there are too many organizations right now who are doing their own thing, and that's not the way it works. That's not the way it works.
Right.
Huh?
And I said, like Black Lives Matter. You know what I would say? Let's take a page from the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott. Yes, it was uncomfortable, but look at the impact that it made. And that went on for a year. Mm-hmm. You young people out there, y'all don't want to be uncomfortable. But if you realize from whence this whole thing cometh, then I hope you would have a different outlook. And again, being centralized is actually going to make this whole movement a lot more powerful. Tommy B, I thoroughly agree with you. And I know a lot of it is being rooted in the Black Church of America. That there's two things that
I'm cool with that because the Black Church has been effective. It was effective during the height of the civil rights movement.
All right, Black folk eat and they shop. So even and don't again, it's not just Target. Let's take it like Tommy B. You were talking about certain restaurants, that have rolled back initiatives, or when they're in Black neighborhoods, their menu prices are much higher than in other neighborhoods.
Yeah, but I just think we got to get on the same page, man. We can't have multiple organizations doing different things. And I know you got ego involved, when it comes down to this, but man, let's get something centralized. And even if different organizations are communicating, be communicating the same thing.
Same information. Information is power. Information is power, people. The more of us get it.
Yeah, we're going to come back to some political stuff, and I just want to let you guys know, we'll wrap it up with the political roundtable because I want to show that Zelensky video for those who watch the video podcast, because if you hadn't seen it, I'm sure you've seen it by now. As you said, Tonya B, is everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yep. Let's go ahead and do it.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tonya B.
All right, Tonya B, what you got?
All right. I wasn't here last week. We lost a lot of people last week. Gwen McCrae, the funky sensation is still on my.
Oh, I got it in. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, ever. And everyone else had passed away. And then we woke up to again the passings of, as Syracuse Mike mentioned, Roberta Flack, and Chris Jasper, who was the one of the integral songwriters in the Isley Brothers' real rise when they came back in the 70s. He was the brother-in-law of Rudolph Isley. And he just has a
Isley, Jasper Isley. Caravan of Love.
Love and Insatiable Woman. Remember Insatiable Woman?
Yeah, great song.
Yeah. And Syracuse Mike also mentioned about this stuff with Gene Hackman and his wife. It's smelling more and more foul every time. Because they said there's no certainty of the carbon monoxide poisoning, but they had been in that house dead since February 17th. They were found in separate rooms. The pills were strewn about, and the cold, dry weather in New Mexico was what kept their skin intact, but they were pretty much mummified. How was your front door unlocked in a jar? And, he's in one room and she's in the other. So I think I just say foul play. I don't know what it could have been. But, there's more to this story. I think it could end up being a Lifetime movie. Okay.
Yeah, I think, let me mention this. A lot of the information they found was because of his heart. What do they call it? The pacemaker?
The pacemaker turned off on or about the 17th. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the other thing, you mentioned about the mummification, the pills. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's going to be a Lifetime. We're going to know in about a month what actually happened.
Or what they're gonna let us know. And there was so many theories that were going around. Was it carbon monoxide? Was it a hit? Was it a suicide pact? But Gene Hackman was 95 years old. What did he have to hide or prove to anybody?
Yeah, well, the other thing was, and because going back to Popeye Doyle and the French Connection,
the Firm,
and my movie. Hoosiers, unrealistic, but
yeah, mine was The Firm.
The Firm too, and No Way Out with Kevin Costner. He was one of my favorites, man. But you're absolutely right. At 95, he had lived a full life. But one of the things his business partners said was she had put him on this odd diet.
Yeah, strict diet.
A very, very strict diet. He didn't like it because I think whenever he would go out, he would sneak food. He wasn't trying to stay, to the diet. So I'm just wondering if there was some turmoil, which, of course, there's always.
A little bit of misery with Kathy Bates.
Yeah.
A little tinge of misery in there.
Stephen King going on. Yeah. Yeah. What you got next?
The Academy Awards are tomorrow. I can take them or leave them, and I'll probably leave them. But, I just say anybody care, 1, 2, 3, not me. But one thing I do hope is that the Grammys and the NAACP Image Awards, y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself. I thought the Quincy Jones tributes were just a hot mess. I hope that the Oscars will get it right. I know Queen Latifah is involved in that, so I hope they'll get the right people. We'll see. But, inquiring minds want to know, is Cynthia Erivo being blackballed? Because almost every other award show that's come up, she's not been, called as, the award goes to. Even at the NAACP Image Awards, Keke Palmer shocked everybody, and she was named Entertainer of the Year. Everyone was betting on Cynthia Erivo. But what has happened is that she made some very disparaging social media comments, and the receipts are out there. Even if you take them down, it's still there, about Black folks. And I think it's coming back to haunt her. They have resurfaced. And then there was also, the little bit of a debate about how these English actors are coming into this country and taking major roles away from American actors for the foreign or the British actors taking less money.
Well, here's the thing. We've talked about it several times here. This went back to Harriet, the movie she did when she did Harriet Tubman.
Yeah,
and Aretha. But the first one was Harriet Tubman, and she, Black folks just don't forget when you do stuff like this. I mean, Talib, when we talk about beefs and we talk about hip hop, the culture just never forgets when shit goes down. You know what I'm saying? And quite frankly, it was high profile when she was doing Harriet. It started then. I know she's connected to the Shy creator,
Lena Waithe's partner.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I think one of the things, honestly, that she has not done that I think she's going to have to do is really address it. Because here's the thing she's got. You got the whole ADOS movement, which is already anti-immigrant. You know what I mean? You got that happening. Plus the other thing is just the fact that she truly said it. She's a talented actress. She does an excellent job in Wicked. But I don't see it going away until she addresses it and makes amends, because as long as there's a level of arrogance, about y'all not going to do this to me, then they will be doing it to her. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. You gotta come out I don't know if she truly apologized for it, but go ahead.
She hasn't. It's almost like talking about somebody's mama, not their mother. It's like you talking about my mama, that type of thing. So I don't know if she realized the damage or if she will admit the damage that she has done.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, there are few people on social media who are truly well connected. Every time something comes up where she's being honored, they blast these things out. Every time. I see them all the time. And, that's unfortunate. But again, her publicist, somebody's going to have to say, look, here's the deal. She's going to have to come out and say it, not the publicist, not a press release. She's going to have to sit down. I don't think Oprah's that true sit down. Maybe she goes on Club Shay Shay.
Look, at this point, she needs to go on Tamron Hall and Jennifer Hudson. She needs to, like you said, address the elephant in the room.
I think Tamron Hall and Hudson are like the happy places. I think the place where you truly bare your soul is Shay Shay. She needs to go on with Club Shay Shay and just say, look, here's what happened. Go ahead, Talib.
I think it sucks that the place that people bare their soul is on Club Shay Shay right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's where you go. You know what I mean?
He has become, as they like to call him, the Barbara Walters. They like to call him that.
He's definitely Baba Wawa.
I think it's a place where Oprah's like, I ain't got time for this. I don't have time to say anything. It's not worth it for me to, And I know Cynthia is hoping that it will blow over, but it's not. So,
well, it's more the Black community. I don't see it happening. I mean, if she wins for Wicked, I think she should win for Wicked because of the impact. But I want to get to awards when you wrap up. Okay, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and do the tea. I do want to talk about one big thing that happened this week that bothers me. Well, it's a couple.
We're gonna talk quickly about some people living in a van down by the river. That's the rise to fame in the disastrous fall of the DeBarge family. there is this documentary that's being shopped. It's produced by a man named Matthew Soretta. And the documentary, I should say, is debuting at the Slam Dance Film Festival this week. It does not have a distributor. They're trying to get somebody to take this on. But even if you've seen the trailer, it's really, really sad to see James and Randy living, it's like they're living in a hoarder's home. And, then you see him playing the guitar. His voice, I'm surprised, is still there. And it's just a talented family that just has had, they're unrecognizable between the drugs and the homelessness. And Bunny is out there trying to get herself together, make a comeback and make some money. Because they were only around, they only had 2 albums before they just kind of went on their way. But there's even some footage of their late mother, Edeline DeBarge, in there, the late brother, Tommy DeBarge, and even El DeBarge is in there. One thing that, El has come out of his haze and out of the abyss of drugs long enough to take ownership of the rights to the DeBarge music. Yeah. But this filming of this documentary, TV and Talib, stopped in 2021. So we're talking almost 5 years later. They're trying to get it. So it's going to stop at a point where we don't even see what's happened to Chico and Randy, and the others. So it's almost like, I call it like the Kennedy curse. You sell your soul to the devil for fame, fortune, and what you think is money. And it just has not ended up well for this family. And they're still very talented. So
I think VH1 does it best. When VH1, I think they did a version of Behind the Music. A lot of them were still alive. I think that was the best one, the VH1. Yeah, even, I kind of think VH1 needs to redo it and basically.
Yeah, the unsung is. I wish they would bring it back. They're supposed to be bringing back.
But you remember Behind the Music too, right?
Oh yeah. That was before anything else, and that laid the groundwork. That was the blueprint for all of these others that have come afterwards. Yes, I got to talk about Marcus Jordan.
Okay.
I know you may have talked about him last week, but he was high as a kite when he was arrested down to the train tracks in Florida. Now, we know he was drunk when the cops pulled him over, and he was trying to take the train tracks apart. Who has that much strength to take train tracks apart so you can move your Lamborghini? But then the white powder substance that was thought to be cocaine was actually ketamine. And, that's the drug that killed Matthew Perry from Friends. So I think Marcus may have a bit of a problem that may need some professional help, because when you mix alcohol and ketamine together, you might as well drink. That's poison.
Somebody said that's the Elon drug of choice, but I ain't saying.
Maybe he should take some ketamine. Him and his boyfriend. But I'm sorry. So I hope Marcus gets the help that he needs. All just comment aside. And I just want to say congratulations to Usher, baby. Every time you think this is the year, he's still Mr. Las Vegas, but on May 12th, he will receive another honor, and that's an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters degree from Emory University. He's going to be the commencement speaker there. So it'll be Dr. Usher, baby.
Yeah, good for him.
As of May 12th. Yeah. And I do like the fact that he's I like the Tyler Perrys of the world, and even the Ushers, and even Ludacris too. They're very quiet philanthropists that do so much and don't want to be all up in the video and be out front saying, look at me, look what I did.
Yeah, good stuff. The Raymond Foundation, I think Usher Foundation, however it's called, referred to, it has done a lot, definitely in the Atlanta area. Good people.
And I got one more question for everybody.
Yeah.
Why did Chris Rock, for his 60th birthday, go under the knife and get cheeky implants? Really? That's all I got to say. Don't need it. Just be funny. We don't need it. But I will say this, SNL, everyone's saying, out of that entire, 3-hour show, the best skit was Black Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Hands down, bar none. I still watch that, and it still cracks me up every time.
Yeah.
Black Jeopardy is probably one of the better skits that SNL has produced in the last couple of years.
A long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Between that and What's Up With That?
Yeah. And I know, Kenan Thompson is
running man.
Yeah. He's Mr. SNL now. But I'll just say this. I don't know. To me, it was disjointed, and I guess they just had to do it, but they did not need to bring Tom, what's his name? Hanks in there.
Hanks did not.
We could have cut it. Right, it could.
The Tom Hanks? The Tom Hanks Black Jeopardy?
But see, no, the one that
that was hilarious.
No, the one that Tom Hanks did before not the 50th, the one that he did when he was hosting.
Yeah, when he was hosting.
Great.
Yeah,
the 50th kind of, it didn't have that same vibe.
Okay.
It didn't have that same vibe.
But the Black Jeopardy is it. And I love watching Tracy Morgan and Leslie Jones try not to laugh.
Oh,
Eddie
yeah.
Eddie Murphy was in full character.
What Eddie said. No, wait a minute. I forgot what he said. James L. Jones is my father.
I watched the father. I got my mother pregnant on the set of Claudine in 1974 on Edgecombe Avenue in Harlem. See how many times I watched it?
That was classic. That's classic.
Eddie knows how to do
lasagna.
it. Yeah.
Anybody got 4 cheese lasagna? Okay.
Oh, yeah, 4 cheese. 4 cheese. There you go. Hey, I gotta say, I gotta give them their props, man. Beyond the Gates debuted this week. I have not watched a soap since I was trapped in the house during summer vacation as a kid when you got nowhere to go.
Your mother or your grandmother, right?
Nothing but
and
TV.
You could not change the channel. Yeah.
And you could not change. So yeah, I have not been, but I will tell you, the messy, and I'll tell you here, I'm not going to spoil it because I know you can still go on Paramount, you can go on Hulu, all the episodes from this week are there, but I'm gonna give some awards, man. The Messy Soap Award goes to the character Danny Dupree, okay, for laying out multiple slaps, not just one this week, multiple slaps, wiping a desk with a golf club. And the last act, they always got to have a big cliffhanger going into the weekend on Friday. The huge cliffhanger we're going to find out about on Monday could definitely change the show, in terms of, I'm not going to say it, but it could change things. But Danny needs help, y'all. That's all I got. Actress Carla Mosley, man, and there's a psychiatrist on the show. But I will say that she is like what's Glenn Close. she is hovering on the boiling bunny. That's all I got to say.
I got a question for you, Tommy B.
What's that? No, I got more.
The Jive Turkey Award?
Oh my God, that Mama Dupree. That's all I got. Who is Toonie? The actress.
Toonie from Law and Order, yeah.
Yeah, who says Jive Turkey? But, of course, I didn't hear it anymore. So they must have got that tweet, or I'm sorry, the one that I sent out that said, who says Jive Turkey? But, and the man, everyone, you got to have the man women hate on the soap, okay? And that goes to Bill Hamilton, who is on, of course, he's Danny's ex, who's moving into the community that Danny's father built with his new wife. Go figure. So everybody's mad.
Yeah, definitely messy.
Yeah, and that's the actor. I think it's Timon Kyle
Durrett. Yeah, we called the guy from Queen Sugar. He was cheating on Queen
That's
Sugar.
Him.
They cheating
That's
on
him.
The guy
Somebody said, "Oh, that's the guy from Queen Sugar."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is the one that women love to hate, and I can't go through his list because we almost running out of time on the podcast.
Thank you.
And the "What did I do to deserve this?" goes to Bill's soon-to-be bride, Haley Lawson. That's her name on the show. And that's she is actress Marquita Goings. She happens to be from Athens, because, of course, it's filmed here.
Here in Atlanta.
Beyond the Gates is actually filmed in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And all the ladies will answer her question, if she ever says that in public. Because they got the list of what she's done to deserve it.
As they
girl, what is it? In chorus, girl, you know what you did.
No, you're going to learn today. How about that?
That's it. That too.
You're going to learn today. Okay.
But this triangle, man, it's just crazy. Again, I haven't watched the soap since I was a kid. But I will say, as a soap, it's well done. I think it's going to be here. And they push it. I mean, it ain't. I mean, they're not being politically correct. I mean, they going for it. So I give it to them.
Not that they have to. It's like we'll see. The jury's still out.
I mean, honestly, you can watch if of course, we release this on the weekend, so you can go on Hulu. I think all the episodes are there. But if you have Paramount Plus, it has from episode 1 through 5. They're all there. And you know what? Yeah, it's on demand. It's definitely on demand. You have anything, Sleep, on that?
Oh no, man! I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to get started on no soap opera.
Because you get hooked. You know how it is. You get hooked. Because
look, I mean, seriously, you get especially if it's right. You know what I mean? Like if there's just enough titillating drama. If you got this person who's just conniving to no end, You know, I mean, it sounds like it's got all the right elements. I'm not trying to get hooked.
Dude, it's got,
into the summer.
You know, it is just beginning, and you can already see the mess a mile away.
So Behind the Gates is about people basically in a subdivision or something?
It is Maryland, like, you know, Tonya B, you know Maryland.
The rich black enclave where all the people of money and means and stature reside.
Yeah.
To live behind the gates is like, you know, a badge of honor.
Gotcha.
They built where they live. I mean, the family, it's a family area. That's why it's almost like sacred. You're breaking a sacred rule by the ex moving in with his new wife right around the corner from his ex. It's just messy.
We'll see how long that went.
Okay.
Well, you know, I know it's Oscar. Well, did you have one more? Because
I was just going to say, I know that there's a lot of Atlanta-based actors in it, and it's good to see that, you know, there is, because, you know, I know a lot of folks in the scene here, and it's nice to see that the networks are starting to pick up on the local talent that is here. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm just shout out to all the folks that's, you know, part of the crew that I know.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Atlanta is like number 1, number 2 when it comes down to film, when it comes down to productions coming out of here. So it's pretty big. One more thing, I just want to go because we're running close. But we can go over a little bit. But we're cool. You know, I will say this because you talked about the Oscars, and there's some controversy about Angela Bassett, because Angela Bassett came out and basically said, you know, she was disappointed when Jamie Lee Curtis won for the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. And, you know, because Angela Bassett was, you know, nominated for Black Panther. And well, this week, you know, because she got some criticism for coming out and just really speaking her truth. And her husband, Courtney B. Vance, came out and said, look, y'all leave her alone. You know, she has every right. And I agree, man, she has every right to be upset because, you know, when she lost, the first nomination she had was when she played Tina Turner in What's Love Got to Do with It, which is an iconic movie. And she did so much to prepare. She changed her body type, you know, to reflect what Tina looked like. She did so much, and she lost to freaking Holly Hunter, you know, for The Piano, which nobody remembers that movie today.
They don't remember Holly Hunter.
Right. They don't. I mean, Holly Hunter's time is gone. She's not.
What is she doing? Angela's still here, y'all.
Angela's still here. And then she loses to Jamie Lee Curtis. What Jamie Lee Curtis has been doing B movies all of her life. You know, Angela Bassett's a Yale trained actress. You know what I mean? She spent the time. She's done the roles. She's done the crazy stuff. And what has, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis is another scream queen, like her mom was.
Halloween and Freaky Friday.
Right. So my point is, I'm not trying to be mean about it, but I don't blame her because, you know, we get screwed like this. I mean, black, you know, men, black actors, but definitely you see it with black actresses, the way they don't get paid, you know, the way they don't get key roles. You know, just like, what's her name? Halle Berry said she's tired of sitting up here, you know, as the only black actress to win Best Actress. You know, she's tired of that. You know, it's time for Hollywood to recognize black actresses, not just in a supporting role, but in a main role. So, you know, I'm glad Courtney B. Vance came out and said, you know, leave my wife alone. She has a right. Because honestly, I'll tell you, the second one, losing to Jamie Lee Curtis, the Asian actors and actresses in Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, they carried that movie. They made that movie, excuse me.
She wasn't really in the movie that long, was she?
No, I mean, she was the foil, you know, but my point is, it's like, the Asian actors and actresses is the reason that movie got the profile it got to put Jamie Lee Curtis in a position where she could even win. She didn't carry that movie. Angela Bassett has carried both her movies from the time she did, you know, What's Love Got to Do with It to Black Panther. She carried both those movies. So I just got to say that.
All of her movies, if you think about it. She really is
even Akilah and the Bee is still one of my favorites when she plays Keke Palmer's mom. One of my favorites.
Even Jackson's An American Dream, where she played Catherine.
Yes,
she got all of them together.
Yeah, I agree. You got one more thing, anybody? Before we move on to the not so fun. Here we go.
The Political Roundtable.
Here we go. You know what? I gotta do this. Let me see if I can find it first. But it was an interesting week. Like I said, when it comes down to it, I did not expect to see this Zelensky thing. But I want to go ahead and play it. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Here we go.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are not
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
That.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
I'm not
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
I'm not playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
Yeah,
you're playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. It's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this
even
entire
today,
meeting, you said thank
even
you.
Today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
This was crazy. I mean, I'm sitting there. I mean, I'm thinking I'm watching Real Housewives of Potomac. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here like, damn, what is this? You know, but I'll go to you, Talib, because you had a comment earlier.
Yeah, this is the shit show. That's what you tuned into. You know, that's what we've got right now. We've got the shit show. You know, I don't know how else to put it. It felt like Vance, the vice president, had those lines kind of committed in his memory and just waited for the right opportunity to say exactly that. Listen, if this is really, you know, we have to look at as Americans, we have to look at what is not just happening in front of us, but what happens to set these kinds of things up. And if, you know, if the president and vice president are feeling this way because Zelensky didn't sign the mineral deal, you know, which gave him no security because they have lithium as one of their main things, and Elon Musk needs lithium for his Tesla company, you know, we have to get to the nitty-gritty of what all these things are stemming from. Because we can be that if we were just to see that display, it would be, oh, we've got a real strong man in terms of our president. We've got a president that's willing to stand up to all these other leaders and let them know that the USA won't be messed with. Yeah. But how are we messing with them?
Yeah. So true. Hey, I'm going to go to you, Tonya B.
Just like everything Talib said, but like one thing I love that Zelensky said, there will be consequences. And then here comes, I'm JD Vance. JD stands for just dumb, first of all. And, they said, have you been to Ukraine? No, but I've watched things on TV. He wouldn't say, no, I haven't. I'm like, he didn't even answer a simple yes or no question. So to me, he can go kick rocks. And like I said, he lives up to his name because he is just dumb.
Yeah.
And, just this whole thing, Trump, I think that Zelensky was getting the better of the two of them. So their reactive response was just to talk loud and bully.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but I think, again, we talked about it earlier in the podcast. I do feel it's all intentional. They know how to grab the headlines in the news cycle. That's one of the things that Trump is best at. He knows how to control the narrative. And he is manipulating and controlling the narrative. He is speaking to his boss, who's Putin. Like Mike mentioned in the newscast, this goes back to the whole quid pro quo impeachment drama. Now, I will say this. I bet Zelensky wishes he would have testified right now against him, because at the time, Zelensky said, I want to stay out of American politics. I bet right now he wishes he would have testified against Trump. I bet right now he's like, damn, I should have took him out while I had a chance, and I didn't want to get involved.
One more thing about
let me finish. Let me wrap it, and I'll give it back to you. I think he said Putin wins this, but Putin won in November. Putin won when Trump was elected. So it goes back to that. So I'll leave it at that. Go ahead, Tonya B. You can wrap on this.
This whole thing, like I said, this whole, as you call it, the shit show. It was just to take, the focus off of how they're screwing up all these government workers, and the judges are saying, you know what, you can't do this, it's illegal. Those emails, answer, don't answer, the people that they're firing, oh, we made a mistake with, this, that, and the third. No, you didn't make a mistake, you did it, and you thought you could get away with it, number one. Number two, all these companies now that are pulling out from funding Elon Musk, somebody just pulled out $7 billion from something called, I see it's a Safe Link or Safe something. Anyway.
Oh no, Earthlink, which the satellite system.
So
that's connected to T-Mobile,
Verizon.
All these people, Verizon, all these people are trying to bully.
That's right. Yeah,
are they're entities that Elon Musk needs to keep afloat, and it's almost like Putin and Putin is the president and Elon Musk is the vice president. The other two are just there because those are the two that are running everything, and they're doing it for their own purposes.
And just a note while we're talking about Trump, a quick note. Roland Martin is counter-programming the State of the Union on March 4th on Black Star. And honestly, I'll be watching that because, I know exactly what's his name is going to say.
Right.
I don't need to hear it. I'm just going to, wait until after the fact and sort out the facts, because the lies and the misinformation, the faulty statistics, I don't want to hear it. I'm just going to counter-program, follow Roland Martin during that time. And the other thing I want to talk about, I'm kind of pulling away, or not kind of, but have pulled away from MSNBC. They've used the Fox strategy for black folks a little too long for me, where they put the black folks in when there's nothing, let us build it, and then ditch us when it gets to a certain point. Melissa, started with Melissa Harris Perry, Tiffany Cross, and now Joy Reid. So Joy Reid's out. Jonathan Capehart, who's doing the weekends, not to mention their sister station. You had Lester Holt step down this week. So even Rachel Maddow has said basically, damn, y'all got rid of all the minorities, and she doesn't feel comfortable working for a company, and she's making a ton of money. I doubt she'll walk away from $25 million, however much she makes. But the bottom line is, it was a bloodbath when it comes down to minority. The Asian, you had an Asian, you had
Alex
Muslim.
Wagner.
Alex Wagner's gone. The Muslim brother who does the weekend show, he's gone. Jonathan Capehart's gone. In the meantime, they're going to pull over more middle of the road people. You're going to see Michael Steele, who was the Republican chair years ago, who's kind of crossed over. Nicole Wallace, who worked for Bush, is going to get a higher profile. They did Simone Sanders. I think Simone Sanders is going to stay and do wherever Joy was, or within the window of where Joy is. They're doing this roundtable thing. The goal is for them to center the network. And, I guess for business purposes and for ratings purposes, liberal media has been tough. And you guys have heard of Air America. It bombed.
Yep, sure did.
So if anything, it says to liberals, hey, if you want something that's going to speak, especially progressives, I will say to the progressive folks, y'all are losing everything. If you are a progressive, you better do something. You better figure out how to fund something, hold on to something where you can control your narrative, because Democratic Party's moving toward the middle. On some things, it might be right, but, I thought Joy Reid was very fair. A lot of, she had her enemies, her detractors, but I think for the most part, she stated facts. I mean, she didn't, when she went on, she might have beat a dead horse, but when she went on, she was there. She was on message. Tonya B, go ahead. You had something?
So I agree with it. It's almost like anybody who speaks the truth and challenges anything over there, it's like, okay, you got to go. And truth be told, I know Rachel's making $25 million, but I wouldn't be surprised if they start.
I think she's her contract total. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like who else are there left to mess with? She's in the community, and I think to an uproar, or just like they had this pop-up rally downtown in Atlanta today to try to keep the Social Security office open.
Yeah,
it closed, and I guarantee it's going to stay closed. So this whole thing about let's go, the protest, you can never protest with 5 people. That's all I'm saying. So I hope Rachel just really stands her ground and continues to stand in her truth.
Well, she spoke right after Joy stepped down that same day, her final show. Right. She went. I will say she spent a significant amount of time talking about what MSNBC had done. Her boss, the people.
Well, I hope they're afraid of her. They should be.
They should be. I mean, she's the number one show on the network.
They should be very afraid.
But I'll say the people who honestly I thought should have gone was Morning Joe, because Morning Joe's numbers have suffered since the beginning of the year, but nothing's happened, and I think that's a political move to where they're not going to mess with Joe Scarborough, because the ramifications of the fact that he's a former Republican, he has connections. So we'll see. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and wrap it up.
It's time to wrap it up. This is the G Podcast.
As always, we love your thoughts. Y'all scan the QR code, logo, social media. Everything is there. Links for the people poll are there. You can leave us a voice message. And we definitely will play back the best. And don't forget, support the podcast. 25 for 2025 is still happening. We are a Spotify podcast, y'all. So make sure you go and follow us on Spotify. You can find it at This Is The G Podcast. Y'all have any problems finding us on Spotify? Any issue? It's easy. It's right there. You had to go at This Is The G. Well, This Is The G Podcast. Don't be on that. But I saw the G Podcast, but it's a religious thing. Come on. It's at This Is The G Podcast. Final shout out to Talib. I'll start with you. Go ahead. You got any final shout?
No, just thanks for everybody listening.
Yeah.
Supporting. Throw that 25 for 25. That's about it.
Make it rain. Make it rain. Tonya B, what you got?
Just, again, 25 for 25, that's 50 cents a day, people. Just like, little children, but 5 cents a day. 50 cents a day is all we need. And then,
hey, what was his name? Shawty. What was the DJ Shawty who used to be at the strip club? I need to bring him on.
I'm like, you don't ask me about. I don't know nothing about stripping and burping no baby.
You remember Shawty? Shawty went on to do Universal. He went on to do Universal Circus, but I know where he started.
Yeah, Shorty P.
Also, I wanted to just say happy Women's History Month. You've got people like, I think, Jennifer King and all these women that are coming up as coaches and moving to the front of the line, the front of the house in the NFL. Shout out to all of them. Shout out to Leah Wilcox, who we're trying to get on the show this month. And also, I just want to just have a second of silence, as I call it. We lost one of our, she was a real G, Juanita Steffens, longtime industry publicist. She came out of the Polygram music system. She was also the publicist for Charlie Wilson, Joe, and then publicist and manager for Bobby Brown off and on since he went solo. She lost her battle with the dreadful C this morning, so we just send love, light, and prayers up to her family. She was a dear friend, and she will absolutely, positively be missed.
Absolutely, absolutely. My final shout out to the cult members of Trump 2.0. I hope you see now that they are not out for you, that they are taking care of their billionaire friends. And if you don't see it now, as soon as they pass this bill that basically cuts your Medicaid and basically your SNAP that you're getting in rural areas for your kids, as soon as that stuff starts going away,
and senior
citizens, when you see that and you voted for Trump, just want you to understand, hopefully you'll see, okay, who you voted for.
Well,
that's all I got to say. And all the fraud and waste that they're talking about is not from the people accepting the health care. It's from the people running the health care.
Yeah.
You know,
and
so they'll see, you know, the overcharging and the high medicines just overcharging. We will see. We will all see that soon. Your feedback, again, is more important than ever, y'all. Trying times. Again, thank you to Georgia Me. Thank you to Queen Sheba. Appreciate y'all for coming on. And with that, y'all, episode 258 is in the can. Yes. Have a great week. Peace and power to the people.
Power.
You've been listening to This is the G Podcast. This is the G Podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.